Morning, morning monsters. How is everyone doing? I am doing a lot better, would you believe? So today we are returning to our ball and peg project. For those of you unaware, we are working on a tutorial series about how to do a ball and peg. For those of you on YouTube, hey, you've just jumped from the last video. There's no interruption. Wonderful. Right, so if we jump into the game. Now, one of the things that I really want to iterate today, which is kind of a lesson, because obviously I've been away from this project for a bit while I've been unwell, and I wanted to mix it up. And, part of me really wants to move on to something new, but the big lesson here is finishing projects is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Now, we could rework this, because obviously it's a bit of frustration with angles we've taken. But we're not going to rework it. What we are going to do is we're going to just lean in really hard. We're going to debug it, and we're going to get it as fun and playable as quickly as we can. And we're not going to worry about it too much. So the first thing I'm going to do is our little controller, which controls the power. I'm like, okay, let's simplify that. And Kiltros is dropping in on us this morning. Morning, guys. We're continuing the ball and peg project very, very quickly, and trying to iterate the importance of finishing projects, because it really is critical. Okay, so we're going to unhook R2 and we're going to plug it into an adjustable slider, because I don't want to lose all that logic, but I do want to simplify out the controls a bit here. Then the next thing to address is, at the moment, the shooter's got a bunch of problems. Now, we have separated all of these into individual elements, but in the interest of speed and in the interest of getting this project to a finished state, I'm going to say, well, bugger that, and let's just hack on it as quickly as we can in scene, and we'll save the stuff out later. So, not the best practices, but don't worry, we will get there. Okay, so the thing I don't like about this particular shoot state logic, we decided to go with a timeline-based system, which is a perfectly reasonable system. Why is count progress there? Why is it off? It's off chip there. So relatively simple system, but what we're going to do now is we're going to shift this over from a timeline-based system to a selector-based system. Now, remember when I was originally talking about how you can do this, they are both viable, but we're getting some one-frame glitches, which isn't uncommon with timeline-based logic, because the audio system and timeline stuff runs as fast as it can to finish stuff up, and you can sometimes get a bit of issues with that when you need real precise one-frame stuff. So we're going to switch over to a selector. Ignore the small children dying outside. They go into class, and they're very unhappy about it. Right, so that's a timeline that we will be getting rid of in just a second. Selector here. Okay. I'm just going to give it a different color, because whatevs. We will name these in a second. How many states do we need? We need 4 states. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm also just going to switch on grid mode, because it makes me really happy to have nice clean logic when I can do that, and I can line it up. I can do that. Line that up. Okay, we're going to shift this stuff over to here, and just going to line these up nice and quick. Oh man, isn't going to school absolutely horrible according to that small child? It's rather hilarious, because we've got a little bit of a throughway, which is not a throughway. People who don't live here aren't meant to use it. But of course people do, because desire paths are a thing. We've spoken about desire paths before, but there are... Well, that's actually already a whole bloody microchip, so why don't we just... Really, Claire? That whole thing was for a signal manipulator? Ready to shoot. Right, X is down. Honestly, we can just name these things onto these things. Out of ammo. Oh. So there is a reason for using tags there, which I hadn't fully divulged, which I will talk about in a future video, not this video, because I don't want to go through the whole bit. But basically, well, the short version of it is you can use a scene-wide detector to find out if the tag is turned on, and then basically that is a way for other things in the scene to check what state a thing is in. So it's a little bit of a fudge, but it's a useful fudge at times, and I've used it before. So it's just a bit of, oh man, we are going to get in logic soup. Right. Now, I could, because state A and B basically do the same thing with signal manipulators, I could move it through, but we were setting them out, separating them out into discrete states for a reason. Now, this is all a whole bunch of gobbledygook, and you can see how bonkers crazy that all is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take another microchip, and not a calculator, microchip, and we're going to pop that on there. And well, this is already the shoot state logic, so can we simplify it on here so it's not such a mess of chicken soup? Let's go through these quickly and figure out what's what and what can be simplified out. Okay, this splitter, that is the power that's coming through there. There we go. And this is the shoot now logic, like whether or not you're able to shoot. And it's controlling. So there's a bit of a hackier way of doing it, but I prefer if we wire this into here, and then we use these. Do I want to use it to? Yeah, I'm gonna. Well, so the two things I'm debating in my head quickly is we can shove a keyframe on here, and the keyframe can power down these individual things, which is one of the cleaner ways of doing this. But I don't like it too much because there's not a wire, so it's not obvious to debug. It's a little bit more expensive because an animation thing creates an animation wire in the background. And yeah, you know what? I don't like it because it's not as clear. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we need to name these states. Oh, we forgot to save the positions. So whenever you're organizing your microchips carefully, okay, let's just move this off to the side here, move this off to the side here, move this off here, and move this off here. If you're ever doing microchip arrangement, just make sure you click the little anchor to save their position. Now, if you don't save their position, it'll always open up the microchip in what it thinks is the most helpful place, but yeah. Okay, so let's rename this to ready to shoot. And then this was, what was this? This is X is down. X is down, which I don't think we're going to use. Going to release and shoot. Okay, release and shoot. Oh, I remember why I have this, because you want to be able to hold X, and then you want to, yes, we will use that, and then out of ammo. Out of ammo. Right. No, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. Right, so in this particular state, when we get a signal through here, I'm just going to actually shove a node on here. When we get a signal into here, we are going to advance to the next state. Thank you very much. And that signal is going to come from when X is down. We can get rid of all of that other gunk. Now, what we are going to want here is we're going to want a signal manipulator, and this is only going to be when pulse on off, which it already is. Then we want this to come through. Well, actually, you know what? This on off, it can go into state C. Likewise, on off, instead of going into next, we can hook this into state B, make it really clean, rather than just next state, because next state is workable, but I prefer the cleanliness of, okay, what's on that microchip? Nothing's on that microchip. That microchip can die horribly. Okay, we didn't name those keyframes. That's kind of naughty of us. Let's move the tag into the corner so we don't have it in the way. Keyframe we didn't name because we were obviously being very naughty. So now this NOT gate, that does not need to go into there, and that does not need to go into there. So on release, X is down. Wait, did I just delete something that I shouldn't have deleted? 1 second. Yeah, I deleted that. I should not have deleted that. There we go. Right. Don't know why I deleted it. I did. Fortunately, undo and redo is there for you to save your butt. Come through here. I can delete that, and I can delete that. Right. Now the shoot now is going to be there. And I'm just going to rename this to X just in case. Well, I'll rename this to shoot button because it may be remapped in the future. Right. No, come on, just delete that wire entirely. Thank you. Makes my life easier. There we go. There we go. There we go. Right. We can delete that. Yeah, we can delete that. That's all good. Release and shoot. This is this was previously relying entirely on animation. Okay, what is this keyframe editing? So if you select a keyframe like that and you go in, anything that this keyframe affects should be highlighted with a, there we go, it's affecting the little bulb. So yeah, that's affecting the bulb, right? That is, I'm guessing, just affecting the bulb as well. I'm just going to double check on that. That's affecting the bulb. These are affecting two things. One is affecting the bulb, and the other one is affecting nothing I can tell. So we're just going to get rid of it. Microchip. Yeah, we can get rid of that. Okay. So we'll go into this state. When this is released, we'll go into the C state. When the C state is released, we're going to have a NOT gate, which is going to fire us immediately into the D state. and the D state's also going to shoot, because not gate should just come on for 1 frame. That should all be good. And then out of ammo, because we're in the D state. And then if ball death happens, ball reset, which comes through to here, and this is this our ball counter? Yeah, this is our ball counter. Well, actually, it's not really our ball counter, is it? What we can say is that if this comes in here, and we're in the we're in this state, and we're putting it on there so it doesn't fire unless we're in that state. We can delete that there. We can just check what that's animating. It should have just been animating the keyframes. Okay, good. So we can get rid of that. If that comes through here, then we go back to our A state. Right, that should all work. The logic's a little bit cleaner. Let's just do a quick save. Now, if we come through, we push play. Okay, we can't shoot. That's good. Can't shoot. That's good. We can shoot the moment. Oh, hold on. Did we manage to trigger 2 balls there? Okay. So I'm going to change up this a little bit here. At the moment, this is a trigger zone that detects balls. What we're going to do is we're going to delete that. As I say, we are ripping apart logic here today just to get us to the good place, the place we want to be. Right. So at the moment, that is detecting name, which is fair enough. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into our... I did say I'm going to hack on this thing horribly today. I'm going to go into our emitter, which is there. I'm going to disconnect that object to emit. Right. So there's a few things we're going to do here. First thing we're going to do is this thing is long overdue a microchip. We were desperately trying to keep a microchip off it because I was thinking to myself, well, what happens when we want to do a multi-ball and we want to do loads of crazy balls on the screen, and I don't want to have to compromise my ability to do multi-ball by the ball being complex. That's not a problem we have now, and even when we have it, you know, we can afford to spawn out a bunch more logic. So let's just fix it. Let's just make it work, and we will adjust for complexity later. Is the short version of this. Now remember that tag trick I was telling you about earlier. So the tag trick there. So now if we name this ball, right? And if we put this, and if we say that, do we want to put a health gadget on this, or do we want to? Let's go with a health gadget actually. Gameplay gear. Oh wait, no gameplay gear. Did we not put the health gadget? Oh, we moved it. We moved it into health manager. There we go. We did move it. Right. Reset health. No health. Currently losing health. Fantastic. I will be honest. I hardly ever use. These. I hardly ever use the health manager stuff because I haven't done many platformers and stuff. I've been doing mostly word stuff. But now if we change this zone here into damage zone, health modifier, we want it to be per hit, we want it to be a zone, and we want it to just nuke your health. And zone shape is going to be cube. Detection mode, just leave the defaults in, that should be fine. Right, let's get grid mode on there. Okay, let's shrink this down. I always prefer just using the stretch tool to do this rather than trying to align and whatnot. I just find it easier. Right, well, that should be about there. Why is the ball not falling? That's a good question. Okay, come out. That is funny. Let's take the emitter. I think the emitter turns it into movable when it there we go, object to emit. Let's just do a quick play. Wait, did it emit more than one? No, it didn't. Okay, now just check that that's dead. It should be. Right, so now what we're going to do, that tag trick I told you guys about, is we put a sensor in here, and it is where is it? Value slider. I think it's just trigger zone actually. It's been a while since I've done this. Turn off grid mode for a sec. Thank you. Stop freaking out. Here we go. Now this needs to be searching for a tag, and it's looking for the ball tag. And the detection scope is not here. Sorry, everywhere. And it's scene level. And number required 1, number detected. Okay, cool. So now if we just grab ourselves a NOT gate. Hey, sneeze. Excuse me. Oh. So now if we grab this wire here, delete that, we can get rid of this. So basically what this says, what is this modifying? This is modifying the pitch set. Oh. Yeah, we need to just move. Hold on, just undo, undo, undo. Just checking. Ball respawn. Okay, so this just needs to be powered when powered on, and this honestly just needs to come to here. Get rid of the power, and then we can get rid of the ball respawn thingy-majiggy. We're going to do a bit more intertwining because, as I say, we're going to hack on it, and we're going to not stress too much about the other stuff. Okay. Right. So now that should handle Was anything else relying on ball respawn? I think there was in the score display. There's a reset score. There's the add points. There's the brick combo wizard stuff, which I think was relying on brick dead. Yeah, that comes through here. No, that just kind of resets down. But the combo counter should probably be reset when you're in the ready state. Okay. We could put a wireless receiver in there and we can clean this up. We can clean up the spaghetti later. We want to keep it simple now and make good progress. Right. Save. I'm going to say this is a private version. Let's say version notes. Hacking with wires. Okay. There we go. Yeah, that's all fine. But yeah, to reiterate, guys, the important thing is finishing projects. And if you get stuck on something, if you get frustrated with something, work on the music, work on the art, work on some other side of it. Okay, so at the moment I don't like that the light indicator's not getting lit up when it needs to be. The good news, oh that's bad. That shouldn't be happening. Let's go to test mode and check that out. Now, a little bit of a hint with test mode. If there is a particular gadget you're interested in, like I'm interested in this out of balls trigger zone one, you can just pin that to the screen. Now it's here for you to look at. Go into test mode, play. Okay. Huh. Now that is interesting. Exit test mode quickly. Unpin, because now when you unpin it'll go back to where it properly should be. Right, so let's just get this keyframe here, which makes it blue. We're going to make that green. We really need to rename all of these to be, will this work? Ready light on shooty. Does that work to rename them all? Ready light on shooty, ready, it does. Brilliant. Okay, so we now know what that keyframe does for everyone. But for this one, we just need to make sure that it is a nice big glowy green. And we're just gonna make it punch up the glow a bit. Okay. So, I need to see, it's going back to green way too fast. Why is it going back to green? The only thing that should be able to take it back to green is this wire here, the A wire. Okay, let's close these out. Let's check out the wiring here. Okay. Remember I said this becomes a bit of a goopy wire mess. We're gonna try get this a bit under control, because if we don't, then insanity ensues. So let's move that to there. What is that blue? Oh, it's because you've got to make sure you're just a through port wire, so we don't get any insanity there. Right, that is hooked up to that. B is hooked up to there. hooked up to there and hooked up to there. Right, and then I like to do the wires that go back all together or close together. Yeah, that goes into B, which is what you would expect. Just clean this up. I actually find cleaning wires up rather therapeutic. Normally something I do, I tend to avoid doing it on stream because it can be quite boring to watch, but we'll just go through. Chat, do you have any questions while I'm doing this very basic wiring section? We can give some stuff there. If there's any questions about the setup or this layout that you are curious, oh dear. One of the features, which is really handy but can get a bit annoying, is when you're dragging around wire points, it can connect up like that. Okay, so that's going through to D, and then out of ammo should be the only one that carries us through to A. Come on, just push that up there, go that up there, and drag across and drag down. Okay, so the logic is looking a lot more as we kind of expect it. Right, that is a lot neater and a lot cleaner. Move it up a notch, move that there, move that up a notch, up a notch. Kind of want to be able to rainbow color your wires. They just take the color of the gadget. And recently, I forget when actually, it was one of our more recent patches. I think it was when we did the launch patch, we made it so that all of the gadget colors were consistent by area. So it was easier for people to learn what kind of gadget it was and where a gadget was. But I do miss the ability to just sort of arbitrarily color stuff. Right. That right there is problematic because it comes through. I'm going to leave it like that because when it junks it up across there, it's more obvious. Okay. It's all the wire junctions are in place. That wire junction's in place. Right. So now, if we pin that to the screen and we go into test mode, we should be able to see the states that they go through. Test mode, play. Oof. That, by the way, is because the camera FOV is different from default, and the pinning code can get a bit confused by that, but it should be fine. So we go through. Wow, we immediately go out of that state into the next. I'm wondering if it's because the ball sensor is not, if the out of ammo one is not picking it up fast enough. Okay, so what we're going to do here is that, which currently powers us to the next frame, we're going to disconnect. Yeah, we're going to disconnect that for now, and we are going to wire it into something arbitrary like no, one more group in, oh. Okay, so you see the glow here. We're just going to wire that into that. It's going to be a little bit overpowering, but it'll give us a quick a quick check if it's picking up the ball. So you see there. Oh, silly mistake, really basic mistake. Do we have emit with wires turned on? Object is emitted, emit with wires. Okay, just check if that's the problem. That was not the problem. I didn't think it would be, because we haven't got actually... Why is this trigger zone, which is set up to detect ball tags, not picking up the... I suppose the only way we're going to be able to do this is we're going to have to shoot. We have to go into edit mode. It's definitely not picking up ball tags. And if we go into, we won't be able to edit this unfortunately because it's an emitted object, so we can't scope into the microchip. What if we turn off the emitter? Object to emit. I'm just going to move it off there so it's on. Oh, well that's going to be a non-starter. This NOT gate. Problem is I don't want to wreck my wiring that I just spent. See, this is why I don't do wiring on stream, because all my beautiful wiring gets unplugged. I'll sod it. We need to debug this. Okay, so it's definitely picking it up there. So now if we go back to the emitter, we hook this up. Let's just check if it's picking up the emitted version of this. Okay, it's definitely picking up the emitted version of this. Right, so then the obvious mistake is that there is a 1-frame glitch. Okay, unpower that. Put a NOT gate in there. And then this is going to be a little bit wonky, but we're going to take this out. I'm going to put this into there. But then to avoid the 1-frame input, we're going to have to have to avoid the 1-frame input, we are going to have to say oh, I've got a few ways we could solve that, but I'm actually going to leave it for now, and we're going to wrap up for now. So for those of you on YouTube, come join us in the mornings, 8:30 live, and follow along with the ball and peg project. All the other videos are on the channel. They're there. We are going to be piling through this, and we are going to be finishing this in the next few days, and then publishing a ball and peg kit for anyone else to make ball and peg games. We are going to art it up and all that jazz. So for those of you on YouTube, ta-ta for now.